Now, in 5 minutes' time, talking of talent, we have a gentleman who will be phoning up from Berkshire, giving clues about a town. And if you can guess what his town is...
it's going to be a record token this evening.
Then it'll be a record token or something like that. Are you going to recap over those requests and then we'll start playing those immediately after the competition?
After the competition.
In about 2 records' time we'll start playing.
Okay, yes. In fact, we have 2 Cliff Richards tonight.
Just played him just now as well.
Oh, we have another one as well.
Right.
And also we have Jerusalem, the Holy City for Sister Winifred. And also Cherry Ripe as well, if you remember that little piece of music.
Who's that by, incidentally?
I'm not sure. I'm going to look it up in a moment.
I see. You're not too sure at all about that one, are you?
No.
I feel a bit dubious about that.
In fact, the reason why I'm late this evening is because I bumped into Leslie, who, of course, is another lady working over there this evening, another nurse, and she's going to have some Billy Ocean, which I promised her later on, and she even gave me a sweet as well.
Oh, dear.
Yes, that's not
what about
bad.
me, Leslie? It's charming.
Shades the shades.
Which Billy Ocean does she want?
The one after Suddenly, the new one, off the album by all accounts.
The new one by all accounts?
Yes.
Right, go on, get on with it.
Right, thank you very much. Time, Cliff Richards, and also some Culture Club we can have later on in the programme.
God, thank you, woman.
Something nice for Lynette Shears, and she'd like to dedicate it to Diane in room 1. Diane has been lending her odd little bits and pieces, so she'd like to say thank you very much for that one. And as I say, some more Cliff Richard as well. And my goodness me, that really is about it. Oh, Smooth Operator Sade, mustn't forget that one, for all in room 2, who are being operated on tomorrow. All your requests coming up a little bit later on after the competition tonight, which of course is
coming up in about 2 or 3 minutes time. So yeah, that's a sample of my simple sense of humour back in 1985 when I presented St Peter's Request with Ray Rainbow, a very good friend of mine who passed away on Friday morning, and this programme is dedicated to him. I've got a number of recordings of him, and I'm also inviting family, friends, anybody that knew Ray to email me this evening at studio@radioway.co.uk, and I will read your dedications out, and I'll also play appropriate music that you think will go well for us to remember Ray. Just had an email from Gail Naylor. Gail says, Ray gave me so much encouragement to join Radio Way, which, as you know, I did about 16 months ago now. And so did Ian, who's a close friend of mine and who works so well with Ray. They really were a class double act. How about playing Gina G, which I know used to get played a lot when those two guys were together at functions. I was also at Ray's wedding reception. He looked so happy and proud. I know that we will never forget him. My heart goes out to Donna and to Rihanna. Thanks for a brilliant show. So thanks very much for that, Gail. I'm going to play that record for you now of our memories for Ray. In memory of Ray Rainbow, from Ray's friend, Gail Naylor. Thanks very much for your email, Gail. Thanks for tuning in this evening. So yes, Ray Rainbow and Ian McGee went on many escapades together. And one of them included them playing that record, Gina G, of course. Now, when Ray was organising his wedding, he needed, obviously, a DJ with the kudos and the experience, obviously, and plenty of 1980s records. And that person that he found with all those requisite skills, well, I loosely say skills, was me. And he rang me up. He said, look, I really, really want you to do my disco for the wedding. This is in August last year. And he came down to Radio 8 studio a few times actually and brought down some of his equipment and was explaining to me exactly how it all worked and which lights I needed to use and all that sort of thing. And most importantly, he said, look, you're the right guy to do this because you've got all those old 1980s records and that's what we want to play. I said, are you sure, Ray? Are you sure you don't want me to bring anything else? He said, no, absolutely not. Just bring all your old Daryl Hall and John Oates and all the old Dan Hartman and play that. I said, okay, that's what I'll do, Ray. So anyway, I turned up there at the Dittons and everybody was there, you know, everything was going, set up. And the first thing that happened was that this crowd of young people came over to me and asked me for Rihanna. So that was actually a great start, and I did actually manage to get it all sorted out in the end. But that was quite an event, and it was quite something seeing Ray, who'd only recently recovered from a long spell in hospital, actually doing the first dance. And there with Donna, they looked an absolutely fantastic couple together, and it was absolutely my privilege to be able to do that.
52555 in unison again.
We're going to say hello to Azaz. That's right, I've got it right, I think. Mrs. Azaz. What a lovely, joyful name, Azaz. And your request this evening, Mrs. Azaz, comes from Culture Club, and there they are with their brand new single out a couple of weeks ago.
God Thank You Woman, this one's called. And if you like a request you didn't see Ray, give us a ring up to 10 o'clock this evening, Weybridge 52555. You can always give us a ring on Weybridge 52555. We've got a 24-hour answering machine service. Ray Rainbow is in Elliot Ward at the moment, and he's going around to collect some requests, so he'll be ringing us up in about 5 or 2 or 3 minutes time actually now, and we'll be playing a record for a lucky patient that he's dug out, and the rest of the request we'll be playing just after 8:30. Well, stretching the programme out this evening because Ray Rainbow ought to be on the phone now, but he's not. I wonder what they're doing to him in Elliot Ward this evening. Just to remind you, if you're in any of the other hospitals, be it Ashford, Ellesmere, Walton, Weybridge or Woking, you're welcome to give us a ring. The number Weybridge 52555, and we'll play your request between now and 10. Hopefully Ray will be ringing up in the next few seconds.
The 1985 Adventure Raffle is coming to Radio Way.
Radio Way.
Hospital Radio Way.
Hello.
I'm a little bit late, Jonathan.
Just wait a minute, Ray.
Okay.
You're jumping the barrel here, or something.
Oh, God. No expense spared this evening, live from Elliot Ward in St Peter's Hospital.
Where have you been? We've been worried about you.
Well, I've been organising something that will be at the end of the request this evening. Elliot Ward very busy with umpteen requests, such as Dr. Hook for Sharon Wilkinson. Elizabeth Roche would like So What's New, if we can find it. John Parr and Jennifer Rush has been a request from Lucy McTaggart. Pat Boone for Gillian Grimshaw, and 2 others. I know him so well, Barbara Dickinson. This is for Margaret Potter. That's right, Margaret Potter. Beryl Denise for Winnie Postons, I think that is, and some ballet music for Mrs. Thomas is the Elliot Ward request this evening, and also Sade for Staff Nurse D. Mitchell this evening. And also, I have a friend with me this evening by the name of Mark Gadd, whose wife has just given birth to a very nice young girl downstairs from here, who's going to be on the line in just a moment to say a little request.
Is she young, Ray? Are you sure that she's young?
Very, very... You know what I mean.
Yes, we're all having a good laugh here, yeah.
Yes, at my expense, no doubt.
Sorry.
Anyway, I'm going to hand over to Mark, who's going to make a special dedication for his wife.
I'd like to dedicate the record Truly by Lionel Richie to my lovely wife. She's given me the loveliest daughter in the world, Catherine Jane, and I love her very, very much.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan.
Girl, tell me only this.
Ray calling me there from St Peter's Hospital to the studio. I'm just going to interrupt that for a couple of minutes because we have Kevin on the line. Good evening, Kevin.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for phoning in, Kevin.
Yep, no problem.
Now, you're Ray's cousin.
Yeah. I started off with Ray when he used to do his Rising Sun Roadshow discos. It was we started off together in the late 70s, and he sort of really built it up from there. He always had a good keenness for music, and the discos were really, really good fun nights. The only thing was with Ray, when we used to get a venue, it was always the top of a pub, and it was always me who had to carry the speakers up the stairs.
Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Used to happen to me a lot, that.
He'd find a little bit of wiring to do, and I'll be left there lumping up the speakers and the records. Yes, we had many a good time. There was 4 of us in the end. There was myself and Ray and our girlfriends, Hayley and Joanne at the time, and we used to travel all around Surrey doing weddings and engagements and everything. Really, really happy days.
It was called the Rising Sun Disco.
Sun Roadshow.
And he used to come to the studio when he started in 1980, and he had a sticker on his record bag. I used to always ask him about it. In fact, I've still got his business card, the Rising Sun business card you had done. I've still got that somewhere.
Yeah, it was happy days, that was.
Absolutely. And our thoughts at Radio Way, everybody at Radio Way, would like to send our condolences to you and your family, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
And
yes.
I know it's an incredible shock, and we're all living through that, but no more than your family. So I'd just like to convey that to you.
Yeah, our thoughts are very much with the smashing Donna. She's been an absolute rock for Ray in the last year and a half, and of course his gorgeous daughter Rihanna.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I've dug out a song that might be appropriate, actually, from 70s. So I'm going to play that. I'm going to play the Tramps, Disco Inferno. What do you think?
Oh, excellent.
I think that's going to be good.
He'd love it.
And Kevin, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
God bless. Please pass on our condolences.
Loving the show.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thanks very much.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
See you. It's Kevin calling in. Kevin is Ray's cousin. Right. Okay, so the disco theme really reminds me of Ray. We're going to spin this one. I've got to say good evening to Joanne. A message from Joanne says, Ray was a dear friend of mine. We would meet for a curry. Lost contact about 2 years ago. I feel very sad about that. I find comfort knowing he met Donna and he was very, very happy. Ray was a true gent and so loved by so many people. I know you're struggling with this show. Yeah. I know you're struggling with this show tonight, but you're doing him proud. Thank you very much, Joanne. This is Radio Way on a Monday evening. We have a special tribute programme for Ray Rainbow, who passed away suddenly on Friday morning. Ray was an extremely good friend of mine. I presented a programme with him for 8 years on Radio Way between 1980 and 1988. We've got Steve on the line. Good evening, Steve.
Hi, Jonathan. How you doing?
I'm struggling through it, actually, Steve.
Yeah, I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you. It's a very strange time at the moment, isn't it?
It is very strange indeed, and obviously I must explain that you're one of the presenters on Radio Way.
Yes.
And you've known Ray for quite some time.
Oh yes. Oh boy, yes.
Just take us through your fondest memories.
Well, I started on Radio Way back in 1985-6, and I ended up training on a Sunday night with Andy Richards, and it meant we were immediately preceded by a gentleman I can't really describe much more than to say he had the perfect name for his show, The Colourful Sounds of Ray Rainbow.
Yeah.
This was a very colourful man.
He was.
A shock of hair, which when I found that he later unfortunately lost it, I was equally shocked by. He never let a Sunday night go past without a terrible joke and a wicked smile. Ray was a man who he loved life, and he made Sunday nights extra special, and it was really good to have. It's like a warm-up show, really.
Yeah.
You couldn't go far wrong if you followed a show from Ray Rainbow.
Nothing false about him at all. Not a thing.
Not.
Just absolutely, everything about him. He was so sincere.
He was extremely genuine.
Yeah.
He offered enormous help towards me. He gave me advice. He didn't have to. He wasn't training me, but he was there for me when I started doing my own show on a Saturday afternoon initially. Ray, would offer some words of advice whenever I saw him, and then later on, I ended up doing a show on a Sunday evening, and was able to hook up back again with Ray and enjoy our Sunday evenings.
And what a time that was. How many years did you know him for?
Well, I mean, I've known him since 1985, 86.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's 85, actually, I think.
Long time.
So, yeah, a long time. And I was shocked by the news. I'd been in touch with him fairly recently. And he said he'd hoped to be getting over his illness.
Yeah.
And last year, we were intending to meet up, but he'd been ill. And I'd recently tried to get in touch with him again because I'd seen that it'd been his birthday and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was pretty devastated to read the news.
Absolutely.
This was a man who helped me enormously at Radio Way, and he helped everyone else. And, you know, you can't really describe Ray. I know he used to love his music. And I think the best thing is that he was a musical genius in his own way.
He was.
You know, he lightened up the airways. And I will never forget, you know, a very small room in Weybridge, surrounded by lots of records and bits and pieces, and Ray's smile, because he certainly made
very
my
cheeky.
time at Radio Way, you know, it was a perfect introduction, I would say.
You know, when he came back from collecting the requests on Monday evenings in the 80s, he used to, on the way back from hospital, go into Kentucky Fried Chicken and buy us both a can of Coke. And every week he would turn up and he'd give me that can of Coke, you know. And he was that sort of bloke.
Did he have anything else when he was in Kentucky Fried Chicken?
He didn't actually. I don't think we were allowed to eat in the studios in those days. Occasionally he used to bring some chips in, which was quite nice. Is there anything you'd like me to play? Any record that you think might be appropriate?
Well, I suppose you've played Level 42 already this evening.
I haven't actually. I was going to play that at the end, but I can play Level 42.
I'll tell you what, if you can find some Level 42, because I know that Ray loved to hear Level 42.
I know. Do you know what? He used to even skive off the programme to go and see them sometimes. I used to have to pretend he was there.
I remember him going, and I remember listening to the stories when he'd come back the next week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he'd seen them a few times. So, yeah, I'd love to hear some Level 42.
Right, Steve, I'm going to play this one. This is one that actually really describes him well. I think goes really well. Something About You. Thank you very much for phoning.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And you know, hopefully we'll meet up in better circumstances soon.
Yeah, all right. No, you know, rest in peace, Ray.
Yeah, rest in peace. God bless. Thanks very much to Steve for phoning up there with his memories of Ray. Thank you to everybody for tuning in this evening. With our tribute to Ray Rainbow, who sadly passed away on Friday morning. He was absolutely nuts about Level 42, and I actually played millions of Level 42 records when he was in hospital last time, a year and a half ago. And absolutely crazy about them. And as I said, he used to skive off sometimes off the radio programme that I do with him in order to go and see them. So that was fantastic. Just had an email from Amy, and Amy says, "Hi, I'm Ray's cousin Amy. I have some very fond and happy memories of Ray. Ray and Donna came to ours on a summer evening for drinks in the garden. Dad, being a practical joker, returned from getting what Ray thought was Bombay mix. Ray sat eating the Bombay mix for a good 10 minutes before my dad said, 'What do you think of the Bombay mix, Ray?' Ray said, 'I'm not too keen on it, actually.' Dad replied, 'Neither is our hamster.' To Ray's surprise, the Bombay mix was in fact hamster food. And now that, Amy, actually says a lot, because generally it would be played the other way around. So I think that your dad managed to get his own back on Ray there. Fantastic. It's not often that used to happen, actually. He used to mercilessly take the mickey out of me, Amy.